Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This is Seeking Media Productions, here to bring you a movie review.
Well, we just got done watching Mulan.
You know, we didn't think we were going to be able to actually get major blockbusters in the year 2020, but finally we was able to get something from Disney, through Disney Plus, mind you.
A little extra.
Yeah, it's fairly steep if you're watching it as a single person, but families is pretty much a steal. But this film in particular is taking a long road to eventually be here.
Exactly. There's no doubt about that. Not just, trying to, deal with the whole real world applications that's currently going on right now, but we also got to worry about, distribution between America and China. There's a lot of political intrigue that was falling around this film. But it's a blessing that this movie was even allowed to be shown.
But what about this film that is finally being able to be shown worldwide?
I mean, first and foremost, we already know that since this is Disney's Mulan, this is really following the coattails of its predecessor, which was the animated feature. Now, for the most part, this is a pretty. It's well, I don't want to say faithful adaptation, but it is a nice successor that works along with it.
Yeah, it's basically telling the same story, very structurally, but it does verge its own path. With it shows subtle differences from what Disney did in the animated movie in the beginning, and then it branches off probably around the halfway point.
Yeah, I would say definitely around the halfway point. This is where that film. That being said, even though it does its own telling of the story, it is faithful to what other fans may come to admire in the first adaptation. All in all, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it's fairly entertaining. Now the whole reason why Disney decided to do Mulan as a live action adaptation is one, it's yet another of their live action adaptations of previous animated works. Most specifically, they're doing it from mainly the 90s renaissance of animated movies that they did.
I hear they even thinking about trying to do a Hunchback Notre Dame.
That's gonna be something interesting. Despite them being remakes, they are essentially huge money makers. Some of them multiple grossing more than $1 billion
for just telling the same story that you've already saw. So that's why it is refreshing that in this particular adaptation they did decide to say, hey, we're not going to just feed them beat by beat what they already seen in that first animated flick. We're going to throw in some new stuff. I mean, and it actually kind of works in a sense, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have its own flaws.
Yeah, it does. I would say for what it's worth, when it's trying to diverge its own identity from the animated movie, it's still fairly faithful to the structure of how Disney previously done the story.
It's just that it does have a problem when it's actually telling that story. It's a pacing issue. This movie doesn't take its time to enjoy those really dramatic scenes that it desperately needs in order to grip the audience in their seat and follow along with the characters that they're supposed to care about.
It's very similar to other Disney action movies that they have done, most notably in the 2010 era, where it's taking some similar cues from when they adapted Prince of Persia video game. That whole whitewash controversy aside, the film tone, it has a similar tone, but also a similar bit of pacing that robs the films of its more emotional beats that should have earned along the way. But thing is, it does be able to have some moments where this is they're showing some nuance.
That being said, there are also a few issues when it comes to the aspect of characters, or at least specifically actors in this film, filling the shoes of the specific characters they're supposed to be embodying. Sometimes it feels a little stiff in parts where it feels like they're not truly committing to being the character they're supposed to be. That being said, there is standouts in this film that I feel as though no matter what they did their job, and I totally was on board with them. Gong Li, I loved the witch. She was a beautiful new aspect in this that I really did enjoy.
It reinforces some of the themes that they were trying to convey in the anime movie. The theme of reflection is very prevalent throughout, both thematically, musically, and also character-wise.
I actually really did enjoy the actress who played Mulan in this. I think she was a really good. She did her job.
One major difference that she starts off with being a martial artist in her own right, as opposed to having to learn from the ground up when she started training. But you still see her struggles when she's in that military field.
Exactly.
It's something that's like, hey, hold on, you're in the army now. There's gonna be things you need to learn.
Another aspect is that some of the spiritualism that was in the anime feature, they do have it in this film, but they switch it and actually incorporate it in a unique, different way that feels a little bit more in tune with traditional Chinese story structure, or at least Chinese elements, like the whole idea of this world's version of magic, which is qi. I actually did like how their spin on it. It felt really it felt realistic for this particular world, and I actually liked how they incorporate within the characters and the storyline itself.
This has fantasy elements as well, but mainly through the character of Gong Li.
Exactly.
Who's a quote-unquote witch in this film.
And the incorporation of the phoenix, but they took out the dragon since we was all missing Mushu.
Yeah, there's no talking animals in this movie at all.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I say I miss Mushu, but then again, I also felt like it's okay that he wasn't in this film.
Like, for this being more of a serious version than what the anime movie was, but it was essentially more like a lighthearted comedy, like a comedy.
Exactly. This actually felt like it was almost like a war, a Disney-fied war epic.
Yes. More on the production side of things, this is very pretty. It's a very pretty film.
It is very pretty.
The cinematography is very sharp in its use of colors.
Lush colors. I mean, the vibrancy of... the way they incorporate red in this film is gorgeous. And not just red, the landscapes and... Wow,
there's a lot of depth to the images that really makes you... really presents as a very three-dimensional space. Not to say that there are some noticeable CGI backgrounds in this film.
Yeah.
But I feel as though the cinematography, with the way they use the lighting and colors,
and the choreography in which they incorporate within with the actors themselves, kind of it doesn't. I don't want to say you
it's
forgive
a stylistic approach.
Exactly. It's like you can forgive the film for in those aspects only because you see that this is the way that director and the cinematographer are trying to tell their story.
Yes, the music. Now remember that the anime movie that Disney produced way back in 1998 was a musical halfway through. And you'll know, like, they do subtle musical cues from the musical numbers from that film very subtly in this in the score.
Very subtle. It's like, they don't ever really make it stand out. It's just it helps. They only incorporate them in certain aspects in the score to help you understand what that particular scene is indicating.
Like as we said, the choreography is well done, especially with the way they decided to use the choreography with the camera work, which is very unique to than what other action films, especially what Disney have done in the past, was able to accomplish.
And at the very end of it, I find myself finding this particular movie, Mulan, as a good film.
For me, I still have to rely back on the bare fact that the story of which they were telling was very hindered on the very pacing of it all. My favorite part of the film that's not in this movie is when she becomes the soldier, or the male soldier. And she's like, as soon as the moment starts, it ends. And
they do a jump. It is a jarring.
But because of what I said, I have to give this movie an okay. Though I will find myself like there are still entertaining parts that are worth looking at in the future. But there you have it. That was our review for Mulan.
Guys, as always, if you like this review, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell down there for notifications for even more content so we can get it right to you. And please give us some comments, feedbacks. We want to hear from you guys.
As always, my name is Adam.
And I'm here.
This has been a Seeking Media Productions.
See ya.